Alright, horror hounds, and welcome to another episode of This Just In. Today we're going to be doing the ranking of the Halloween franchise. Now that Halloween Ends just came out, I'm going to do my ranking of all 13 films from worst to best. Your ranking might be a little different than mine, so let me know down in the comments below how you would rank the 13 Halloween films. Starting off with number 13, Halloween 5. The Revenge of Michael Myers. This movie I found to be kind of boring. A lot of off-screen kills, which I hate. And this movie completely destroyed everything that Part 4 had done. And it felt kind of like it was a middle movie. There wasn't, I don't know. It had a conclusion-ish, but not, because we had Michael leaving with the whole Man in Black, that whole situation. They killed off Rachel from the last movie, who was fantastic, and they made Jamie a mute. And we had the cops that walked to that lovely clown music. Yep, that's Halloween 5. Alright, number 12 for me is Halloween Resurrection. Yes, the one where they're going to go into Michael's house and shoot a web-based TV show for everyone to watch. And plant some stupid shit. And we're going to have Busta Rhymes doing karate and kicking the shit out of Michael Myers. I believe everybody else knows why this one is near the bottom. For most people, it probably is the bottom. I don't think I have to say much more than that about this one. Alright. For me, number 11 is The Curse of Michael Myers, Halloween 6. This one had some good stuff in it for me. It had some neat kills, some savageness to it, and it did have some nice looks. But overall, there is no plot that makes sense in this movie. We don't know what's going on with the Cult of Thorn 100%, and everything that they're doing throughout the movie is just wishy-washy. And we get to see Paul Rudd in this movie, but it is a terrible performance by Paul Rudd. Thank God he went on to do a movie like Clueless. Actually, he went on to do a lot of Ant-Man, stuff like that, so he did make something of himself in the end. Alright, now we're going on to number 10, which for me is the brand new one, Halloween Ends. I had some things I liked in this movie, and I had some things I didn't like in this movie. You can watch my review if you'd like to see more in-depth stuff on that, and I'm going to have some more videos coming out about 10 things I was in on, and 10 things I was out on for this movie. But overall, it's just the fact that there's barely any Michael Myers in this movie, and the final confrontation that we were led to believe this was all coming down to is a 5-minute afterthought bullshit at the end. I can't find a way to make a trilogy less satisfying than how they did it here. Alright, number 9 for me is Halloween 2. Everybody can hate me down below in the comments, because I know Halloween 2 is more of a fan favorite. But for me, I hate the guy who plays Michael Myers in this movie. I don't like the way he walks, the way he stalks. Some of the kills are okay, but it's kind of a very boring movie as it's going along. And for me, I kind of was checked out about halfway through waiting for shit to start happening. It did draw me back in towards the end, but too little too late at that point for me. Alright, so number 8. Halloween Kills. The movie with the most blood and gore. And I love blood and gore. I literally go out and I watch movies that are supposed to be the goriest things you've ever seen, because that's what I like. I'm a big fan of that stuff, and this movie had lots of gore and lots of kills and lots of blood. But the problem is, this movie had absolutely no plot. It didn't have any conclusion, and either the dialogue is shit, or every character is dumb as fuck. And as much fun as it is to watch Michael Myers kill a bunch of people, it's more fun to watch him kill people who actually do realistic things in that situation. Like, I know people say you don't know if you're in that situation, but I do know I wouldn't make the dumbest fucking decisions in my life. I do know that much. I've watched enough horror movies to know what to do and what not to do in a situation, right? Maybe not, but we'll see. Alright, so now on to number 7. Rob Zombie's Halloween. This one's near the middle of the pack. I find this one entertaining. I love Michael in this movie, bloody gory. I know a lot of people really, really hate the beginning of the movie because of the dialogue, and I do think the dialogue sucks. But I love how brutal they portray Michael as a kid. I love when he beats that kid with a stick. I love when he cuts his stepdad's throat, when he bashes in the boyfriend's head with a bat, and when he stabs his sister all them times. I love the beginning of this movie in that sense. It's very unapologetic and just in your face and lingers. And that's what Rob Zombie does, and that's what he brings to it, and I think it's good. The parts that lose me in this movie is the middle. The middle, I wish it had a little bit more of Michael with Dr. Loomis. And then the end for me, I know a lot of people like the end, but it's pretty much kind of a shot for shot of the original. And if I wanted to watch that, I will go put in Halloween 1 from way back in 1978, and I will watch the much better film. It's just that simple. All right, coming in at number 6 is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. This one I liked a little bit more than Rob Zombie's Halloween because I think Michael's a little bit more bloody, brutal, and just a mass murder and killing spree dude. He's big, he's hulky, and he's going to fuck you up. And I like that about this movie. I liked a lot of the story direction that Rob Zombie went with a different take on it. I like the fact that he touched on the hospital setting, but then he just stayed away. He didn't do the full thing. He decided, nah, that's just going to be a small part. We're going to explore how this has affected Laurie. And ultimately, what puts it above the other one is he gave us the Laurie finding out that she's related to Michael. And that scene that is very good. And can't forget to put this in there, but Brad Dourif, his acting in this movie is phenomenal. All right. Number 5, Halloween 2018. A great resurgence after the Rob Zombie movies. It's 40 years later. Laurie's a badass. Kind of more than I would have expected at her age, but hey, she's a badass. Michael comes back and he's badass in this, and he's traditional. The writing for the plot is not the greatest, and the dialogue is okay, but it's not terrible. It's definitely above the last few movies that I mentioned in my eyes, because it was just probably just that resurgence of getting back into Halloween. It was a nice watch, and ultimately, I liked the ending, but with how the trilogy turned out, I wonder if it would have been better if they just had made one movie. Alright, now we're coming in at number 4 with Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. The one that doesn't have Michael Myers in it, and people hate it for that reason. But ultimately, I think this movie is very entertaining. It's got some funny parts in it. I love the masks that are in this movie. And the bad guy, even though I'm kind of mixed on him himself, the actor, I love the idea of a guy creating a bunch of masks and using it to kill all the kids. It's dark. It's sadistic. If you're going to go without having Michael Myers in a movie, you couldn't go with a better option at that point. All right. Number 3 for me is Halloween H2O, the one I watched the most as a kid. Probably because I owned it, and because it had that Scream feel to it. I like the way the guy plays Michael Myers in this. I like the way he walks, the way he kills. His mask can suck at times in this, but I'm forgiving of the mask. I like the way Laurie acts in this, and I like the whole college setting. And the kills in this movie, there's not a lot of them, but they are brutal. And that was probably the most brutal I had seen in a Halloween movie at the time. Granted, I did miss a lot of the in-between ones. All right, now we're going to be down to the final 2. And if you could guess, my number 2 is Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. This movie, I remember seeing when I was a little kid. Like I said when I was in my review, I remember parts from this movie. And I didn't know it was this movie, but rewatching it now, I did know it's that movie. And there's a reason why some of those parts stick with you. And they introduce Rachel, and she does a great job in this movie. And Jamie is phenomenal in this movie. And the ending for this movie is awesome. You could not ask for a better ending for a movie that's trying to reinvent what the Halloween series is at this point after taking Michael Myers completely out in part 3. But ultimately, we're here to find out what number 1 is, and you guessed it, it's probably every single person's number 1 that's ever seen the Halloween franchise. And that's John Carpenter's Halloween, the original from 1978. There's not much more you can say about this movie. Like I said in my review, the movie's shot well. It's phenomenal. The score from John Carpenter is memorable. Michael Myers, the character, there's a reason why he's so well known in pop culture icon the way he is. It all stems from this movie and from Jamie Lee Curtis being a scream queen. She was, from that role on, she got lots of roles in horror just because of her role in that movie. And that movie does not have any of the stupid war related dialogue, none of that stuff. It's just Michael Myers, the shape, out killing motherfuckers. And that is what makes that movie awesome. Alright, so if you guys want to, you can leave me a like, hit the subscribe button if you're not a member. We got more Halloween content coming your way. And we'll have more reviews besides just Halloween coming out in the month of October. Till the next one, don't forget to leave me comments down below. I want to know what your guys' list looks like. Or maybe you can tell me my list fucking sucks. Whatever works for you. Till the next one, guys. Rest in peace.